Tennessee, W4EX. Thanks so much, Bob. Good evening to you and Sam and Dr. John and Ron and Eddie and Ken. I think that's everyone I've heard. If I've missed you, I'll pick you up next time. I've been listening for a few minutes, working on some Node-RED code for another radio. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Node-RED, but it's a web interface to control just about anything that can be controlled. And so one of the neat things about it is if lightning gets within whatever range I set, it will shut down the station automatically, which pretty much grounds all the antennas when that happens. Anyway, let me pick up the thread of the conversation, and I'll have more to say next time. K3JWI. Good evening, Ken. W4AX, Ball Ground, Georgia.
Well, good evening, W4AX and the group, K3JWI, and I'm not going to try to go down through the group. I'm just going to say hello to everyone. It's good to hear everyone. Everybody's got solid signals into the QTH in Harrison, Tennessee tonight. I won't keep it long. Just wanted to make my presence known and get in on the fun here. The round table before the pre-net, before the net. I guess that's what we'll call it. I have not a clue who to send it to, but Dr. John, why if just for lack of not knowing where to go, pick it up, and if I'm incorrect, send it in the right direction, please, sir. K3JWI.
And 40ZI. N40ZI. Looks like it's the bottom of the hour, so why don't you go ahead and pick it up, K4BKC.
Okay, Bob. Yep, it is pre-net time, so we'll go ahead and kick off the festivities here. It's N40ZI. My name is Alan, located in Woodstock, Georgia. This is the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship pre-net. And I'll go ahead and list out who I have on the pre-net rostered thus far. I got WB4GWA, Dr. Ron, KF4TXQ, Sam, K4BKC, Bob, KN4ME, Dr. John, KA4AMI, Eddie, K3JWI, Ken, and W4AX, Mac. That's who we have so far for the check-ins on the pre-net. So we'll take a sign. Additional check-ins, and we'll send it to the top of the list. Any other check-ins for the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship pre-net? Call now. Okay, got you in there, Ray. Any other check-ins?
K4BKC for relay.
Yeah, give me a relay on that one there, Bob.
It's K5HFG, Don, over in Yachtney, Mississippi.
All right, we got K5HFG, Don. Any other check-in?
November 4, Alpha, Kilo, N4AK.
All right, the last one was a little bit weak. Try to go on this N40ZI.
Relay, it was Whiskey,
Relay 4.
I'm sorry, Whiskey Oscar 4 Kilo.
Over.
Okay, Whiskey Oscar 4 Kilo. All right, got you in there, Bud. And Glenn, I got you in there, N4AK. Got you in there. All right, let's go ahead and get some comments for the pre-net. Up to you, Dr. Ron, WB4GWA. It's N40ZI.
Okay, Alan, N4ZI from WB4GWA in Concord. Well, good evening to you and everybody else checking in. There was also a station that had an R in it that was very light, but I heard him in there, and I didn't get all the call written down. But anyway, you can pick him up in a second. But you're sounding good in here, Alan. Good, strong signal and great audio as always. And I'm going to be playing a little bit tomorrow, hopefully. I got in a components to put together a off-center fed dipole that I'm going to stick up out at the barn, see how it works on sideband, and I've not used one of those before. I've built several other kinds, collinears and everything else, but I'm going to throw it up in the air and see how it does, and add to the antenna farm around here. If you walk around my place, you have to kind of dodge antennas. But anyway, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and sure has been pretty today, I'll tell you. So been doing a lot of things, getting ready for this tower build this weekend, and hopefully get on 6 meters a little bit. But I'm gonna put that off center fed job up there and just see how it does. Anyway, you're sounding good, Alan. Good signal in here, and everybody else. Good band conditions in spite of the solar flare. N40ZI from WB4GWA in Concord.
Okay, Dr. Ron, WB4GWA. And the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Freenet N40ZI, and very good on the tower build. Sounds like a pretty ambitious project, along with the off-center fed dipole. Yeah, we've got a number of antennas around here. We've been stuck at 4 of them, and probably will be for a while, since the 4 that I have seem to be serving pretty well. But eventually we've got some other components. We'll experiment with some other antennas, but right now we got 4. The biggest one's the 160-meter antenna out there, which is really pressing the limits of the property line to get folded in there. So it seems to do real well on 160, so we're pretty happy with it. All right, let's go on down the list and get Sam, and then after we get Sam, we'll pick up some more check-ins. There's some other ones in there, but they're just not quite coming through yet. But we'll see if we can pick them up after we talk to Sam. KF4TXQ, I got some comments for the prenet. This is N40ZI.
Okay, N40ZI in the prenet. KF4TXQ returning. Boy, I mean, good signals this afternoon. Good to hear everybody, and good to be heard. It's better to be heard and not viewed. But anyway, you know how it goes. I felt like I was being close to being viewed here a few days ago, about a couple of weeks ago, when I came down with this crud. And bronchial flu is the proper name for the crud, but anyway, it was crud, and I'm telling you what, it laid me low. And I just felt awful and sounded awful, you know, but it's clearing up. I ran up to our Russell Medical Center branch up here, and we've got a pretty good little clinic up there, and they checked me out, and they took urine samples and all this kind of stuff, and I hadn't heard from all of that yet, but what they gave me up there was very satisfactory in terms of addressing my discomfort. So there you go. I mean, if you could judge how well a pill works by how bad it tastes, they gave me some winners. But anyway, I guess that's the way it is with decongestants. They tend to make your mouth want to turn inside out. But anyhow, back to you there, Alan, and thanks a lot for picking me up. You're sounding great. N40ZI and the prenet, KF4TXQ, over.
Very good, Sam. KF4TXQ and the prenet. Well, you're sounding good. I think I heard you earlier, and you weren't quite sounding up to par. So those pills must be working. All right, let's take a standby, see if we have any other check-ins for the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Freenet. Any other check-ins? Call now.
WA4KM, Whiskey Alpha 4, Kilo Mike.
Whiskey Alpha 4, India.
All right, I got WA4KM, Kevin. That's you in there. WA4III, that'd be Greg. And KW4TV. Let me make sure I got this one right. KW is Manuel. There's two TVs on here, and I got to make sure I get them right. So I got manual. Any other check-ins for the pre-net? Come now.
W4MA.
KN4ME.
All right, I got Bill, W4MA, and Dr. John, I got you way up here at number 4. So you're in there already. Any other check-ins? I guess we're caught up, and that was quite a bit of them. So let's go back up to where we were and pick up Bob. K4BKC, how about some comments for the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet? This is N4OZI.
N4OZI and the prenet. This is K4BKC. Well, not much to say from Columbia except it's been a beautiful day. I don't have any projects going on right now, just maintenance around the house. It's been beautiful weather to take care of all that. Good bunch of stations. I'm copying everybody just fine. Everybody's sounding really good. Back to you, Alan. I'll let you get over with it. You got a big list here. N4OZI, K4BKC.
Okay, Bob. K4BKC in the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet, N4OZI. Yeah, we were picking up quite a bit of them. And one we've got is Dr. John. You're number 4 on that list. So go ahead, Dr. John, and give us some comments. And then after we get your comments, we'll pick up some more check-ins. So KN4ME, this is N4OZI.
Yeah, Alan, thanks. And this is KN4 Mike Echo. I apologize for butting back in again. I had to go in the house and retrieve some items, and so you were in here when I got back. I wasn't sure if you had me down or not, so we were just making sure, I guess. You're doing very well in here this afternoon. We've got some great signals coming in, great audio to enjoy. I'm wiring a really pretty Electro-Voice 664 dynamic mic to use, and actually bought one off the internet, has not arrived yet, a second one, and it's identical to the one that somehow disappeared from my shack that came with the Gold Dust Twins, the complete station, and I'm going to list that when we get down to items. I've been sitting on that thing for 20 years. It's the complete station. There were only 50 some odd of them sold. I've got all the paperwork going back. I'm the second owner. And so I'll repeat this again, but I've never used it. I've used the receiver, the 75A4, but I've never transmitted on it. Anyway, back to you, Alan. Good job, and thanks for doing the prenet, rather. Sorry. N4OZI and the crew, KN4 Mike Echo.
Okay, Dr. John, no problem. Yeah, it's always good to make double sure that you're checked in. So, yeah, we had you at number 4. This is N4OZI, and yeah, I've got a couple of the Electro-Voice 664s. I have one that is, cosmetically, it's not all that great, but it sounds real good. I run it on the 200Bs, and it does a fantastic job. I have another one in there that's in much better shape cosmetically, and but I've never really hooked it up to anything, so I need to look into that. That's one of the other future projects around here. Well, appreciate the comments. This is the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet. Let's take another standby and see if we can pick up some of these stations that were a little weak that didn't quite make it, and see if they can come in now. So any other check-ins for the Prenet, call now.
November 9, Alpha Mike India, N9 AMI.
All right, we got you. I think that's John, N9 AMI. We got you in there. Any other check-ins? I'm not hearing any. I see some carriers above me and below me, but they're pretty weak. I'm not quite pulling them in, so we'll try again here once the conditions get a little bit better. All right, we've got Dr. John, so we're going to go down to Eddie. KA4AMI, how about some comments for the prenet? This is N4OZI.
Hang on, I got to turn the amp up. Hold on for me. Now, N4OZI KA4AMI. I should be getting out a little bit now. Switched over to the Ranger and SB220, and it seems to be operating okay. I don't see anything weird going on the display up here, so hopefully we're getting out all right. I hope everybody's doing fine tonight, and if you're not, I hope you're getting better. I heard Sam say he was getting better, so that's great. Great news. So back to you, Alan. Thanks for being there. N4OZI, this is KA4AMI Williamson.
Okay, Eddie, well, that Ranger is sounding good, especially with the SB220 kicked in to help it out. And it did fairly good before, but once you flipped on the amp, that made quite a difference. This is N4OZI. This is the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet. We'll continue to go down our list to Ken. K3JWI. How about some comments for the prenet there, Ken? This is N4OZI.
Fine business. N4OZI and the prenet. K3JWI. Well, right off the bat, thanks for running the prenet. You always do a great job, and it's always good to hear you. Good evening again to everybody that's checked in prior to the prenet and additional since the prenet. It's good to hear everybody. Everybody's got a great signal, pounding audio into Harrison, Tennessee. I won't hold it long. You got a long list. Looking forward to Stan and the net when it starts up. So there you go, folks. We'll stand by and listen to this great audio. N4OZI. Thanks again, Alan. K3JWI.
All right, Ken. Well, very good. Very good signal. You're booming in the Woodstock as always. So appreciate you checking in. And let's go on down to see if we get Mac. Then we'll take a standby for some check-ins. Let's try to get Mac in here, which we shouldn't really have to try. It's pretty easy. W4AX, how about some comments for the prenet? It's N4OZI.
N4OZI, W4AX. Thanks so much, Alan. And Alan, thanks for running that as always. You do a great job, you and Stan and Sam and Kevin and everyone. And Ron, good luck with the tower. And you might comment on which 6-meter antenna you're putting up. Always interested in that. I work a bit of 6 meters, but not as much as I should. I have 2 different 6-meter antennas. And if you guys were on the band yesterday, you know there was a major solar storm that was wiping out the higher bands in particular. Made it pretty tough. I'm running 375 watts of carrier tonight. And I'm pleased to report my eldest dog had a successful cataract surgery, and she is seeing perfectly. Lots of medicine to follow up on afterwards, but I'm just so thankful that she can see again. N4OZI, W4AX.
Okay, Mac. W4AX in the prenet, this N4OZI. And yeah, that conditions yesterday morning were pretty rough on HF. It was just about hardly anything on. I had to kind of verify that the antenna was up and connected, and then I seem to recall somebody had said the night before that some CME was coming and was going to disrupt things, so I seemed to put 2 and 2 together and figure that out. Okay, let's take a standby before we pick up Ray. Take a standby and see if we have any other check-ins. This is the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet, and this is N4OZI. Any other check-ins? Come now. Okay, well, I got a sideband station, and this is an AM net, so if you can flip over to AM, we'll see if we can pick you up, because you're coming in fairly strong, just not quite pulling you in on sideband. So try it again in AM. Go ahead.
Yes, KIC
KI6QLN.
Okay, did I get KI6QLN? Was that the call?
No, Quebec Lima Mike.
Okay, KI6 Quebec Lima Mike. And what was the name on that end?
Michael. I'm from East Tennessee.
Okay, KI6QLM Michael. All right, we got you in there. I'm going to have to make sure I got that down. Any other check-ins for the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Pre-Net? Come now.
Whiskey 4, Delta Mike Lima.
Okay, Whiskey 4, Delta Mike Lima. Let me see, Delta Mike Lima. I don't have a name on it. What's your name on that end, Glad?
Yeah, the name is Doug, and I'm located in Franklin, Tennessee. Wow, I'm checking in tonight.
Okay, you took a fade. What was the name again?
Doug. Delta Oscar Uniform Golf.
Okay, Doug, we got you. Whiskey 4 Delta Mike Lima. Doug, got you in there. You're on the list now. All right, let's head over here to my neighbor Ray and had lunch with him today. W4OB. How about some comments for the pre-net? This is N4OZI.
N4OZI. This is W4OB. Well, a very good evening to you, Alan, and good evening to all on the net tonight. All great signals. And Alan, yes, it was great. Dan and I really enjoyed our luncheon with you and Ann at Los Rancheros, and you were so good to give me that match pair of 1625 modulator tubes, and I put my DX100 on a dummy load this afternoon, and that did the trick. So I should be on the air with the DX100 tomorrow morning, Alan. Really appreciate it. And just one other quick comment, Mac. I'm so happy that your oldest dog, I think you said, you had arranged for the cataract surgery, and now your great dog can see again. So that's a wonderful thing. I know you have to still have a lot of or whatever for several days, but congratulations, Mac. That's great. Okay, back to you, Alan. And again, thanks for doing such a great job on the pre-net. N4OZI. This is W4OB.
Okay, Ray. W4OB is N4OZI. Well, glad those modulator tubes worked out. And like I said, got plenty of those 1625s. There's a lot of them here, and I often wonder if anybody would ever use them. So I was more than happy to make sure that they got a good home with you for that. That's for sure. All right, let's go over to Mississippi to K5HFG. Don, how about some comments for the pre-net? It's N4OZI. Okay, Don. Well, I've got a fairly good copy on you. Not really great, but the conditions will get better. K5HFG in the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Pre-Net. This is N4OZI. And we should get you a little bit better, but just not quite there yet. These days are starting to get long. And I noticed that this morning when I got up to put the bird feeder out this morning. Not only was it cold, but it was fairly light out, and that was kind of surprising. All right, well, let's go over to Glenn, and then afterwards we'll take another standby for check-ins. Over to you, Glenn. N4AK. How about some comments for the prenet? This is N4OZI.
Okay, Alan. N4OZI and prenet. November 4 Alpha Kilo and Sunset. I heard somebody mention about antennas. That's interesting. I finally counted up mine. I got a basement shack on one side of the house and an attic shack on the other. I think I got about 9 antennas. It's a disaster when the birds fly by. And I got a Force 12 beam for the 10 high frequency DX bands, and I got a VHF through UHF log periodic for 6 meters all the way through 1290. Works fairly well, but I'm down in a hole. So that's interesting on antennas. Maybe somebody else will tell us what they've got. N4OZI, N4AK.
Okay, Glenn. N4AK in the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenets, N4OZI. Yeah, about the most unusual antenna I think I ever had was a 2-meter quad antenna with 4 elements. I got it out of a company in Germany, and then it had 4 coax lines going to it, and by switching it in there, you could switch it to different polarizations, and that was a pretty amazing antenna. Wasn't very big, but it sure worked very well, that's for sure. Okay, let's take another standby, see if we have any other check-ins for the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet. Any other check-ins? Come now. Okay, I'm not hearing any. Do any relays? No, I guess not. Okay, let's go on down the list to WO4K. Bud, how about some comments for the prenet? This is N4OZI.
N4OZI, this is WO4K, Bud in Woodlawn, Tennessee, and it's 65 degrees today. And it was a great day for getting outside and getting some projects done. Right now I'm in the middle of making new shutters for the front of the house, and it turned out to be a longer project than I thought it would be. Hey, I wanted to say to Dr. John that ED664 microphone, that is a wonderful microphone. I have used one for many years. I started using DX100B, and boy, I got good audio reports as a result of and mine is a pretty simple process to switch it between high impedance to low impedance. So it's, you just do a little bit of wiring in the back of it. Not difficult at all. So Alan, I know you've got a bunch of people here, and it's almost time to start the net. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, N4OZI, WO4K.
Okay, very good, Bud. WO4K, good to hear you in there. This is N4OZI and the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet. Yeah, I do like the 664s. I've had this one for, over 20 years, almost 25. And it is not exactly cosmetically very good. It's painted brown. I don't know. I guess it was done that way at the factory, but it is led a rough life. But it sure does sound good. It works very well on the central electronic stuff, and it's a favorite. But I've lost the cable for it, and I got to find that, or I'm going to have to make a new one. Anyway, let's continue down the list over to Kevin. Kevin, how about some comments for the prenet? WA4KM, this is N4OZI.
Okay, well, good evening, Alan. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. Had a little slurs going on. Good evening to you, Alan, and everyone on the net. Yeah, solar flares I had unplugged night before last. I've got a big old huge knife switch for my ladder line. I had taken that out, and I've got another sub panel box in this room, and I flip the main breaker for that and unplug stuff because I was hearing horror stories back in the last one it hit that took out a bunch of, I guess, the teletype stuff and things like that. And they were talking about it could take out satellites and so on and so forth, and mess up radios or electronics and all that. And I was like, holy moly, I got a lot of stuff here. So, oh Lord, it took me forever to get this stuff plugged back up, and nothing happened, which is a good thing. But it took me forever to get all this stuff plugged back up. Probably over, oh man, I bet you there's over 50 things here to plug up. But anyway, we survived it just fine, and thanks for doing a pre-net. Last night it was rough. I'm here to tell you, it was couldn't hardly hear anything like you said during the day yesterday or last night. So it did start to get a little better later in the evening. But anyway, I'm copying everybody pretty good. You got a big list, so I won't hold it, and it's getting pretty close. You got about a minute or so left, Alan. You always do a great job. You and Stan both, and thanks again. Back to you up there in beautiful Lake Cheerful from the City of Gold. This is WA4KM. Thanks, Alan. Doing a great job.
Okay, Kevin. WA4KM and the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Prenet 1040ZI. Yep, up here near the shores of beautiful Lake Cheerful, which rode by the shores of beautiful Lake Cheerful today, and it was still cheerful and still beautiful. And a beautiful day all the way around. We had really a good time. And the band is clearing up, so that's good. All right, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so it's time to turn it over to Stan. So over to you, Stan. W4KR to take it. This is N4OZI.
Hey, all right, Alan. Good evening to you. N4OZI, this is W4KR. Good evening. Alan, one housekeeping item before we get rolling here. Would you repeat a call for me? It was the chap that called in right after John, N4AMI, the sixth call. What is that, please?
Yeah, I have him down as Kilo India 6, Quebec Lima Mike, KI6QLM, and his name is Michael.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I was close. I had something other than KI. I've covered over it now. Anyway, thanks, Alan. Appreciate it. This is, as I said a minute ago, this is W4KR. I'm located in the northwest corner of South Carolina, and every week, the Southeastern AM Radio Club Weekly Swap and Fellowship that meets here on 3885. Now, hey guys, we know that 3885 is busy. It's a busy frequency, and we really thank and invite folks who use the frequency to join us, or if you care just to listen, just stand by for the next hour or so while the members of Friends of SAMRC congregate and fellowship. We meet here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central. The pre-net, as you heard with Alan, begins a half an hour earlier at 6:30. Now, the purpose of the pre-net is to gather the list of stations that are on frequency, so we don't have to do an arduous call-in period right here at the beginning of the net and take up 15 minutes getting everybody in. Again, he starts. Alan is the chap that does the pre-net the night that I'm doing the net. And the night that KF4TXQ is in net control, his pre-net chap is that guy over in northwest Georgia. I don't know, some kind of gold something. I don't know. WA4KM, I think it is. I don't know what all that other stuff is about though. But again, greetings from the golden corner of South Carolina. As the net begins, we'll use the call of W4AMI, which is our club call, and we operate as a directed net, and communications will be directed through the net control. Please appreciate that. As I said before, my call is W4KR, and I told you before where I was. Don't have to repeat that again. Purpose of this gathering every week is to see if any of the folks that are calling in have any buy, sell, or trade wants. I have one person on the for sale list. It's Dr. John, who has a KWS 1 and a 75A4 for sale, but we'll get Dr. John in here in just a minute or two, and he can tell you all about it. We gather here, as I said, to foster fellowship between our members and visitors, and also for the swap, as I said. We have a wonderful, wonderful website at w4ami.org. w4ami.org. The site is managed by our trustee, Dr. Ron, WB4GWA, and it's quite a. There's a lot of stuff on there. I'm not going to go through it all, but there's a whole lot of stuff on that website. Dr. John has done a wonderful job. With that, I'm going to start by asking if anyone other than Dr. John, KN4ME, have anything to buy, sell, or trade. Go ahead, please.
I've got a listing, Stan. This is W4OLJ.
Okay, Virgil, we'll get you in right after Dr. John. Anybody else? Okay, Dr. John, come on in and tell us about your gold dust twins. KN4ME, W4AMI.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. W4AMI, KN4 Mike Echo. Great activity, great signals coming in here, good copy. I'm the second owner. This was bought in 1955 by a local camera shop merchant. It is the complete station, and I'm told by members of the Collins Collectors Association that there were 52 or somewhere in the 50s total complete station sold like this, with the station console, the bus, antenna switching, you name it. I've never operated it as a unit. The receiver, I've got the 75A4, I've used it, but I've never transmitted on it. It's in good cosmetic shape, not pristine. I have all the paperwork going back with the bill of sale and all the repair records on it, including some that I noted were Jim Taylor, who was a well-known AM operator, ham to the older AM community. So anyone interested, I'm certainly good in QRZ for email, and be happy to answer inquiries. So and that's it. Great weather here, enjoying it, enjoying the net tonight. Back to you, Stan, WA4AMI, KN4 Mike Echo.
Okay, Dr. John, thank you. Before we go on, does anyone have any questions for Dr. John? Over. Okay, don't hear any. Next up, next station with a sale item is W4OLJ. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Stan. I've got a really good 50-foot tower, and I've got a heavy-duty hinged base with it, a thrust bearing, and a good mast, and a ham-4 rotor with it. It's all in good shape, and I want $500 for it. I've also got a beautiful Howard Mills restored Collins 390A receiver. It's got the black crinkle panel with white letters. Really nice receiver. I had him to restore it for me, and he done a great job. But I've just got several receivers and just don't need it. But it is a beautiful receiver. So that's it, Stan. Thanks a lot. W4AMI, this is W4OLJ. Oh, my phone number is area code 423-404-9999. 8000. W4AMI, W4OLJ.
Okay, thank you, Virgil. Anyone with any questions for Virgil? Go ahead. Okay, don't hear any. Well, thank you, Virgil. Dr. John, good luck with your. Hope that standby operators are standing by to take your calls. Okay, this is W4AMI, the Southeastern AM Radio Club Swap and Fellowship Net for Tuesday, April the 25. Do we have any other stations who were not on the pre-net list who would like to join at this time? Go ahead.
This is Kilo 4 Hotel Uniform Mike, K4HUM.
Oh.
TV. 4KKJ.
My goodness. Okay. Virgil, by the way, I added you to the list when you called in with your sale item. Okay, I added K4HUM. Lenny, good evening to you. KW4TV, hello, Manuel. And WB4KKJ, K4JCP, and K4JVZS. Anybody else? Okay, didn't hear anybody else. Boy, we're going to have a good turnout tonight. Let's see. First, what we're going to do now is go through the officers of the club, see if they have any announcements or bulletins or comments for the good of the order. We'll start with our club president, K4BKC. Bob, go ahead.
Well, W4AMI. This is K4BKC, Bob in Columbia, Tennessee. Good evening, Stan, and good evening to everyone on the net. I'm just delighted to welcome everyone to the SAMRC Swap and Fellowship Net. What a good group of stations. Everybody sounds really good tonight. Want to especially welcome John, N9AMI, is the new director of AM International, of which we are an affiliate. And we're just honored to have him on the net tonight. And everyone else. We would like to solicit your thoughts and prayers for our members that are sick and ailing, especially K4CWW Perry with his son Will, W4CT Ben, and W7IUC Norm, and any others that you know of. It's been a beautiful day here in Columbia, and I'm on the Collins 20V2 and listening on the R390 tonight. Don't have anything else from here. Stan, thank you for running the net. Thank you, Alan, for the pre-net. Back to you. W4AMI, K4BKC.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Thank you very much, sir. Folks that are relatively new to us, Bob's our president. He does a yeoman's job, a real yeoman's job. We're fortunate. We're fortunate with our leadership. Next up is our club trustee and board member and call sign trustee as well. WB4GWA, Dr. Ron, come on in.
Okay, Stan, W4AMI from WB4GWA. Good evening to you and to everybody else on the net tonight. Sure good to hear everybody, and signals are coming up, and hearing some real good signals tonight. Let me say a welcome to John, N9AMI. John, I'm sure you know this, but just maybe to refresh your memory, when we established this club back in '99, the purpose of it was to affiliate with AMI, AM International, and so that's the reason we went after the call sign W4AMI, so that we could have a direct connection with AM International. So there's some history there to the founding of the club and what we did to try to make sure that we we're very supportive of AMI and appreciate all the work you're doing to take over for Dale. He sure did a great job and is a heck of a nice guy, and we appreciate all that you're doing to follow in his footsteps. Let me also just sort of add to what Bob said about Perry. I had a long conversation with Perry this week, and his son is not doing well at all. He is back in the hospital, and Will is undergoing treatment for some pretty severe septic infection and some problems related to all of the cancer treatment he's having. So do please remember Will. He is not doing very well at all, and Perry is, as you know, very concerned about him, and they're staying close to him right now. So I thought I would give everybody a kind of up-to-date report on all of that. Stan, appreciate you calling the net tonight, and looking forward to the rest of everybody's comments. W4AMI, WB4GWA Concord.
Okay, Dr. Ron, thank you. Thank you for the words about Perry and his family. My goodness, poor Will is really going through it. This is W4AMI. Dr. Ron, I should say, I didn't say I hadn't mentioned it because I didn't want to burden you, but I'm using the NC303 tonight. It's doing wonderful work here. Appreciate it so much. Really appreciated your help with that. Not your help, you're doing it. Eddie, our treasurer, you're up next. KA4AMI. Come on in here, W4AMI.
W4AMI, this is KA4AMI. Doggone, hit the knob again here. Okay, this is KA4AMI, Williamson, Georgia. Well, good evening, everybody, and special for Stan and Alan for taking care of the net tonight, and hello to everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, and like I said earlier, if you're not, I hope you're getting better. And another shout out to Sam there. I understand you're getting better. That's a good thing. Well, we're fine here. But anyway, not much going on around here today. Just spent the day cleaning the shack. You can actually walk into it now. All the cables are off the floor, and the drop cords and the wires and chairs and props and everything else is cleared out. So it's a work in progress. But the next project will have it right back where I started. Anyway, looking forward to hearing all the good signals tonight, and it's very enjoyable to hear here. The noise is going away, and the signals are picking up, the ones I've heard so far, and looks like we're having a good net. Again, like Stan and Bob both said, be sure to check the website. There's a few wants and some things for sale. And also restorations. There's some beautiful restorations on there. If you haven't seen them, go check it out on w4ami.org. And that's about all I have here. Well, I started off on the BC1G, but had hum reports. In fact, I heard it in one of my receivers here. So we'll have to investigate that. It happens from time to time. Don't know why. It comes and goes sometime. One wiggle of one wire, it goes away. So who knows? It's like me. It's old. So anyway, we're actually on the Ranger using a D104 microphone and SB220 out through an end-fed half-wave. I believe N4AK asked what people were using for antennas, so I'm using the end-fed half-wave. It has a flat SWR and just does a good job for me here. So with that, back to you, Stan. Good to hear you, buddy. W4AMI, this is KA4AMI.
Okay, Eddie. Good. K4AMI, W4AMI. As far as the antenna, I didn't comment on mine. Antenna situation here, a total of seven different antennas here from 2 meters on down. 2 meters, 6 meter. Multi-element beam for 40 through 10, including 30 meters. Another vertical another dual band vertical for 2 and 440. That's mounted about 100 feet up on the tower. The tower is a Roan 55. It's 110 feet tall, and the other stuff is on it. There's a cross arm at that 100-foot mark that holds this 75-meter coax-fed dipole and a coax-fed dipole for 160 meters. And there's a 40-meter sloper that's aimed down towards the Caribbean that I use with the waterway net on 40 meters. Yeah, that's the scoop from here. Let's see. Next on the list is our Vice President, our Mr. Feeling Better, and I'm glad to hear it. KF4TXQ. Sam, it's your transmission time, sir. W4AMI. Go ahead.
Okay, W4AMI, thank you, Stan. Doing a great job with the net, and Alan, you did a great job with the pre-net. And boy, it's good to hear all these good signals. And I'm glad that the propagation gods are smiling upon us. But anyway, that's the way it goes. I'm checking my meter up there. I got 1 meter I have to watch, and that is a field strength meter, and it don't lie. That's what I love about it. I don't know whether y'all have had this experience or not, but a lot of times your inline watt meters don't always give you an excellent reading of your output. So anyway, this way has always worked well for me, and that's why I've stuck with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Stan, I hope things are going well for you and Miss Joan in Walhalla, and things are going well here for Miss Mayer and me. In Sambo, we're just doing the best we can, and it's down to 65 degrees now, lovely weather, and the sun is peeping down to the ground sort of on the other side of that little mountain that's on this side of the highway. How sweet it is. But anyway, thanks a lot for doing the net, Stan, and you've done a great job, and this is KF4TXQ, Dadeville, Alabama. Wishing everybody happy hamming and good times and smile and go on. This is KF4TXQ, Dadeville, Alabama. Back to net. Over.
Okay, Sam. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good evening to you. Good signal over here. Band conditions are including. I'll be anxious to hear when Don HFG comes through, because he was a little bit above the noise level when he called in. I bet he's going to be close to 20 over 9 by now. The band is coming around real nice. Next up is our pre-net control. Alan, N4OZI, your transmission, Alan. Question for you: Do you just need to build a cable, or do you need to connect that funky connector for the 664 also? N4OZI, W4AMI.
Yeah, okay, Stan, W4AMI. In the net. This is N4OZI. No, I got the connectors. Turned out I have quite a collection of connectors for microphones, and I didn't realize it until I was rooting around in a box and discovered that. Why is it that every time I need a connector, I order it off eBay, and I find 6 of them in a box somewhere? And that's been the case with a couple of connectors. So that's the trick. If you're trying to find a connector, buy one off eBay. Promise you within a week you'll find 6 or 7 brand new ones in a box somewhere in your basement. That's what always happens. Not much to report here. Finished up the 75A4 project. 2 75A4s were here. Both of them not that great. One of them highly modified with a whole bunch of holes drilled in the front. Worked fairly good too, but just cosmetically was a disaster. The other one was a parts unit that I think Sam was with me. We were at Birmingham 20-something years ago, the Birmingham Ham Fest, and the guy had a parts 75A4 for sale for $100. About 80% of it was there, 20% missing. But most importantly, it had the front panel, and that's what I wanted. So got them, and they've been sitting around here looking at me, and I've been thinking, I need to do this. So I have a recap kit. I recapped it, had to replace the audio transformer in it and get the audio transformer out of the parts unit because it had been replaced with something fairly large and odd. So I pulled that out and got the proper audio transformer out of the parts unit, replaced the front panel. Kind of mysterious front panel. Has red letters on the 75A4 receiver. You can see it on my QRZ page. But anyway, I had to replace the sideband mechanical filter on it too, and recapped it, and it's buttoned up and looking fairly good. It's not, any Collins collector type of quality by far, but I've only got about $280 in it, and it's not bad. It's receiving very well, and we're in the process of getting it hooked up with a 32V3 here, so we're working on that. But that's what we're finally got that project done and finished up this week, and just finally glad to have it out of the way. But yeah, picture of it on the QRZ. The red letters are a bit of a mystery, but I don't really care. The panel doesn't have holes drilled in it, so that's the main thing. So we got that done. So we're happy, and we're working on some other stuff. And eventually we're going to have to work on that 664 because I got another 200V over here that needs some attention. So lots to do. I've got plenty of boat anchors around here just begging for attention. So the list is long. It'll keep me busy for quite a while. So back to you there, Stan. And the conditions are quite improved from yesterday. So it's good to hear people in there, and appreciate everybody's help with the pre-net. W4 AMI to take it. This is N4OZI.
Yeah, okay, Alan. N4OZI, W4 AMI. Yeah, good. That with the red lettering might have been an Air Force or SAC unit. Never know. Okay, going to take a standby to see if we have any latecomers that would care to join the Southeastern AM Radio Club Tuesday evening swap and fellowship net. Come on now.
W4AMI is the gang at 428. W4AMI and 428.
Okay, N4QH, got you. Anybody else? Nope, that's it. Very well. We'll carry on. Next up is, by the way, one housekeeping item. Manuel, I had you when you called in the first time. I guess you may not have copied Alan right at that time, but you're right about in the middle of the group, rather than down near the end when you called in the second time. Next up is Dr. John, KN4ME. Come on in, sir.
Yeah, thanks again, Stan. W4AMI, KN4 Mike Echo. I'll keep it short. Good long list, which is the way it ought to be. Several stations that I have not looked up on QRZ before, so I'm in the process of doing that. I want to give a wave to Bud, WO4K. Nice looking station, and did not realize that you were in Woodlawn, Tennessee. Of course, we've got a friend I've talked to for 40 years on AM, Don Chester, K4KYV. He doesn't get on nets with us, but he's very active and certainly someone who has helped perpetuate AM on the ham bands. And so I didn't realize that there was a second AM station there in Woodlawn, and it got a really nice-looking station there. Back to you, Stan. Appreciate the opportunity to list the Gold Dust Twins, the complete station. I will give a phone number if anybody wants to scratch it down. It's area 256-702-0990. 256-702-0990. Back to you, Stan. W4AMI, KN4ME.
Okay, Dr. John, got it. Dr. John's phone number regarding the Gold Dust Twins, 256-702-0990. 256-702-0990. Thanks, Dr. John. See you soon. Next up is Jim, K3JWI, your transmission, sir.
W4AMI and the net, K3JWI, Harrison, Tennessee. Well, thanks for running the net, Stan. Good signal. Everybody's got good signals tonight. It's great. Good to hear it. And good luck selling the Gold Dust Twins. I certainly enjoy mine. And Stan, as you know, Howard Mills went through my KWS-1, so what can I say? Anyway, very good. We're on the 20V3 tonight. 390A for the receiver, and since we're talking antennas, the antenna is an overgrown, modified, homebrew G5RV, I guess you could call it. It's 204 foot long with a 62-foot tuning stub ladder line, and that's what we're on, and that seems to work well. It loads up through 10 through 160 quite nicely. That's the rundown here. Thanks for running the net. Again, good evening to everybody, and everybody that needs a little prayer, we've got them on our list, and we will certainly keep them in our thoughts and prayers. W4AMI, K3JWI, Harrison, Tennessee.
Okay, gotcha. K3JWI, very well, Ken. I called you Jim before, excuse me. Ken, when will you be heading back up north?
Heading up middle of May, I think about the 19th, about 3 or 4 weeks from now, something like that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sensing with April coming to an end, I figured that would be relatively soon. Very well. Thanks a lot, Ken, and thanks for checking in tonight. Appreciate it. Next up is Mac, W4AX. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Stan. W4AMI, W4AX, and thanks so much for running the net. Bob, your ART-13 sure did sound good on the pre-net. I meant to comment on that earlier. Don't have much else. Hello to everyone, and a big group tonight, so this will be it for me. W4AMI, W4AX, Ball Ground, Georgia.
Okay, thanks, Mac. Yep, we've got 26 folks on the frequency tonight. Ray, W4OB, your transmission. This is W4AMI.
W4AMI, this is W4OB. Well, a very good evening to you, Stan. Thanks for being a net controller tonight, and a very good evening to everyone on the net. And I just wanted to say to Sam, you really had a tough time, I know, with that bronchial flu, and even though the pills were bad-tasting pills, apparently, Sam, they've done the job, so you sound really good, and we missed you on the Sunday morning coffee club, but we were thinking about you, Sam, so there you go. And I will absolutely keep Perry's son, Will, in my prayers. It doesn't sound good. That sepsis is really quite bad. Apparently, if you're in the hospital for any length of time, you're really susceptible to that. So I just hope he'll pull through it, and we'll be thinking about him. So again, a very good evening to everyone on the net tonight. You all sound great. I just wanted to say, Ken, on your 20V3, sounding beautiful, and Eddie Brown and Williamson, your People's Radio, the Ranger, with the SB220. What a great signal you have, Eddie. So So let me send it back to you, Stan. I know we've got a great group in here tonight. We'll get through it. So W4AMI, this is W4OB, Ray in Sandy Springs.
Okay, Ray, thank you. This is W4AMI. Let me put a want in here for net control. Take some net control privilege here for about 30 seconds. I'm looking for a Raspberry Pi 4B mini computer. They're hard to come by these days, and I've been hunting all around, can't find one. Need a Raspberry Pi 4B. Anyway, moving on. Don, K5HFG, how are you doing tonight? W4AMI, go ahead.
Good evening, Stan. W4AMI, K5HFG. Just want to start from Ray over in Sandy Springs. With P5 copy tonight, Ray. Sounded good. Anyway, Stan, thanks for doing the net. And I forgot what else I was going to say. But Alan, I almost forgot Alan. Thank Alan for running the pre-net. It makes good company. And thanks for everybody being on the net tonight. It's great. Signals have come up and everybody's signing up. I got Q5 copy on just about everybody. So it's another good night for W4. 73, everybody. I won't keep it. Hope you all have a good week. And hope I'll see you again soon. W4AMI, K5HFG. W4,
all right, Don. All right, Don. IDD got you alleged to the list. Thanks, Don. You're up to your usual good strength, about 10 over 9. It's amazing how quickly conditions will change here on 75 this time of year. Next up is my neighbor to the east here, Glenn, N4AK. Glenn, go ahead.
Okay. W4AMI, defined group, November 4 Alpha Kilo, Sunset, South Carolina. Current temperature somewhere around 63 degrees, but it's been a very pleasant day. I'm on the Johnson 500 tonight, listening on NC 183D, D104, and a conventional G5 RV. And Jim, I had a double-size G5 RV at my last QTH, and they really work well. So, Stan, you know, a while back, I told you I blew my little ALS 600 amp. It was my problem. I'd probably had it 8 or 10 years. It's been a good little amp. I worked it hard. So I'll just do a little brag on MFJ. I sent it out, and it was fast turnaround. I blew all the finals, and it was $600, but that's okay. I got an amp. So MFJ did a good job for me. So right now it looks like I got more stuff going in the shop than's coming out. But that's the way it is with boat anchors. Fellas, certainly nice to hear all of you tonight. Wonderful signals. Back to net control. W4AMI, November 4 Alpha Kilo.
Yeah, good, Glenn. Glad you got the amp back. Good deal. Sounds like they've got things in order down there over there in Mississippi. Good to hear you tonight. Thank you, sir. Bud, W04K, your transmission. This is W4AMI.
W4AMI, W04K. Yeah, Dr. John. Don is not a close neighbor, but he's in the same little community that we're in here. And he's probably about 3 miles away as the crow flies. Interesting bit of trivia about Don. His ham shack is the one-room schoolhouse that he attended 3rd grade in. That's pretty amazing. Anyway, a beautiful day here. I'm not going to hold it because of the long list you guys have, but great to hear everybody. Wow, band is in great condition tonight. And a lot of you guys are broadcast quality. Just amazing. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Stan. W4AMI. This is W04K.
All right, okay. Good signal here tonight, bud. Thanks for coming in. Okay, next up is the flash from Villa Rica, WA4KM, W4AMI.
Hey, good evening, Stan. W4AMI and the group. This is WA4KM. I hope everybody's doing good this evening. Everything in Villa Rica is doing just great. No complaints. Let's see, we were talking about antennas and things. I've got a 2-meter 440 up on the tower. I have a 220, and they're both Ringo Rangers. It's been up there probably 25 years, but they still work. And I have a J&K 6-meter 5-element beam, which works outstanding. And I also have for a 10-meter, I just put up a Vector 4000 vertical antenna for that. That's very long, real long, and receives really good and gets out, does real good. I've been talking up New York and getting in on that 10-meter repeater almost at will. And as far as the MFJ goes, I've got 2 of the 1306s, which are 1,200-watt amps. A lot of people run 15. I don't. Never had a balance trouble, knock on wood, as you can hear. I was on it earlier, actually. I'd only run around 900 watts on it, maybe 1,000, never more, and never had no trouble. And they're the upgrade from the 1300, so they got double heat sink and a lot bigger, and they just do a great job, and I'll brag on them a little bit too. I've got 2 of them, and they just work outstanding. They follow the radio. I got one on 990 Kenwood and one on the ICOM 7800, and I bought the little cable that follows and tracks the radio, so you don't even have to adjust it. No tune, no nothing. Just wherever you go, it'll follow. And HF Auto Tuner does the same thing, so I'm getting lazy. Used to we had to dip, peak, and then take the tuner, and then I'm also running a ladder line doublet, 135 foot of wire and 81 foot of ladder line straight into the shack, no baling. I got a ladder lock system up there where the wire and ladder line come together at the top of the tree, and it comes straight through the wall through an 1.5-inch PVC right in the back of the Palstar AT5 tuner. And that's about it. I've got a Buckmaster off-center fed dipole up on a little small tower about 38 feet, and also a Fretzel off-center fed, which worked really good, actually. And I'm in the process of working on a Delta Loop, 253.4 inches, and should have that up. Richard, one of Manuel's friends, is going to help me get all that together. Anyway, won't go through all the rigs. We'll be here for a while. But anyway, that's the antenna systems here in the City of Gold. Stan doing a great job. Hope you and Miss Jones doing good. You got a great going. The band is in super condition. Alan, you done a great. I was going to tell Eddie down there that the Ranger with the SB220 is about as good as anything I've ever heard you on. The Rangers are just outstanding. I got Lou's here, K4NMYs, and I've got it hooked over to L82, and it's hard to beat the audio on those little rascals. They got tremendous audio. Anyway, back to you, Stan. That's old buzzer transmission, as Andy would say, and we'll talk to y'all on Thursday on the Gulf Coast Malt Society. So, with that said, I'll turn it back to you, and if Mac's listening, he was about pinning my meter. W4AMI, this is WA4KM.
Okay, Kevin. Thank you, sir. You're rocking it over here tonight, as you usually do. Let's see. Next up is Greg, WA4III. How about you, sir? How are you tonight, W4AMI? Go ahead, Greg.
W4AMI in the net. This is WA4III. Well, doing good here, and everything seems to be in good shape. The transmitter here is a Johnson Valiant with a D104 mic on it, and using a Drake R4A receiver, and have a Drake MN 2000 keener that I'm using. My dipole, I've got a dipole that's cut for about 3650. That's the reason I'm using the keener. I think the Valiant would load to it, but I didn't want to risk the arc over. But anyhow, that's the station here. Of course, I got a few more stations, but too numerous to mention. Anyway, everybody's sounding good. Seems like later on they get better, and the noise has gone down considerably. Been a nice day here today, and I've been lazy, hadn't accomplished a lot. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for picking me up. W4AMI, this is WA4II.
Okay, Greg. Good signal. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate having you, sir. Sounding good, doing good. Manuel, your transmission. KW4TV down there in Florida, W4AMI. Go ahead, Manuel.
Well, thank you, Stan. You're doing a great job as always. Always on your net. You do a good job. And I don't know, I've got lots of things to do with Stan. I'm on the P3 tonight. Got the RCA 88 receiver, and I enjoy it very much. Got some 500s and a lot of stuff. I'm like Sam, sometimes I can't remember. Got too much stuff to hook up sometimes. But I do enjoy it. Enjoy listening to AM. I told you that's Max W4AX. Looks like he's on stereo when it comes in down this way. Really sounds good. And Kevin as well. He sounds great. And all these guys. Just want to jump in and say hello, Stan, and thank you for picking me up. And I've got some emails I won't make one like this all. So I'll send it back to KW4TV. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Manuel. Signal held up real well. Kevin, I forgot to mention to you, we're blessed with good conditions tonight compared to what you had to deal with last night. Wow. Anyway, thankfully we're in pretty good shape propagation-wise. Bill, W4AM, MA. I'm dyslexic, Bill. Didn't know that. W4MA, W4AMI. Go ahead.
Yeah, W4AMI. This is W4MA. Well, thank you, Stan, for the correction. And good to hear you. Great signal as always. And thank you for doing the net. And thanks to Alan and for that net. Big lift out. I thought I was getting in there early, but I'm tailing and everything. But happy to be here. The name here is Bill. I'm a little east of LJ. Kind of out in the middle of no place, no city of this or that, but we're just out by ourselves, and we're quite happy. We're running a Johnson Ranger 1, Johnson Curry amplifier, about 200 watts carrier, D104 unamplified, 80 meter off center fed dipole. I have two of those, one favoring east, west, north, south. I don't know which one I'm on now, but anyway, that's about what I have. I don't count my 2 meter antenna as having anything, but I do have one of those. Did have a tower with a lot of metal up years back. Those days are gone. I was big on 160. That has passed, but maybe I'll get my 160 back working someday soon. Not much radio work for me. Shack has been kind of slow. Really enjoy getting in here with you guys. Doing a lot of work outside, taking advantage of this cooler air in the garden, and doing some work on the property, clearing up some cow timber and this and that. happy to be in here. Look forward to getting in here with you guys. And like I said, good signals this evening. I'm surprised to hear everyone considering the conditions a few days ago. Back to you, Stan, and thank you. W4AMI, W4MA.
Okay, Bill. Good to hear you tonight. Sounds rig sounds good. Before we go on, I'm going to take a brief standby to see if we have any latecomers. W4AMI listening? Yep, didn't hear anybody else. So next up is John, N9AMI. Welcome, John, as the guys way back up at the front said. Welcome, and I wonder, John, where you're located. N4AMI, N9AMI, excuse me. W4AMI, go ahead.
Okay, W4AMI and 9AMI. Thank you, Stan. And let's see, I'll try and go really quick because this is just 25 watts and a 7610 here. So new station set up here in Kennesaw, Georgia. And just threw a off-center fed dipole up as high as I could get it. I'm estimated about 80 foot or so. So we'll add to the station as time goes here. So, yeah, and thanks to Bob and Dr. Ron for all the good words there, and I am darn proud to be a part of your guys' group. Bob invited me when I took over AM International, first of the year, and so proud to be part of the group, and hope to have many years of getting to know the folks here. That's for sure. I am going to be rolling back to Nevada because I'm back and forth from Nevada to here until this will be my final stop. Hopefully not final resting place, let's put it that way. Not final stop, but I should be able to run in remote when conditions are right and say hello to you guys, and hopefully my 25 watts does okay for now. But I will be back in August for a month or so, and then I'll be back over the holidays and whatnot. But hopefully I can pump it up a little bit with an amplifier and some other tube gear. So that's that. Real quick, if anybody's interested as far as the membership in AM International, we added 80 new members since January. So that's kind of cool. Took some interest, and I think probably just because the website, because Dale never really had a website or anything like that, so that makes it easier. And what else here? I am recording the net tonight because I kind of do a little YouTube channel, so that'll be up on the YouTube channel, and if you want to check it out and listen to yourself, just look up at 9AMI and you can find that. And I don't want to make it too much of an advertisement here, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But darn glad to be here, like I said, and Dr. Ron, very good on the history there, and you're darn right. I did make sure that on the website it did show that you guys as affiliated with, and yeah. So looking forward to many years of fun operating with you folks here in the Southeast, and we'll leave it at that. W4AMI and 9AMI.
Yeah, okay, John, welcome to this part of the country, and we'll look forward to hearing you regularly. Thanks for passing on the information. Take care and be safe running back and forth. Okay, next up is Michael, KI6QLM. Michael, I wonder where you're located. W4AMI, go ahead. KI6Q.
Hey, Stan. Sounding good over here tonight. We're running the usual 41000 rig and the 75A4. We've got a half-wave dipole about 40 feet high.
something like that. And the other antennas we have is we've got a 48-foot self-supporting tower with a Mosley tri-bander on it, and then we've got a 6-meter Cushcraft halo above it. Above it is about 60 feet. So we work a little 6-meter AM now and then. Not much going on. Been a beautiful day here in Sweetwater today, and a little cool starting out, but it was a good day. Got a few little things done. Worked in the garden just a little bit. So anyway, Stan, you're doing a great job, sounding good over here, and everybody's sounding good tonight. So everybody have a good evening. 73s. This W4OLJ in Sweetwater.
Okay, Virgil. Wow. Good to hear you, man. Good job. Yeah, it was a beautiful day for working outside. Worked out about 65 here, and the humidity was down. It was a great weather hereabouts. Lenny, K4HUM, your transmission, over. K4HUM. Okay, Lenny must be up the band a little bit. We'll come back to him a little bit later. Greg, WB4KKJ, your transmission. This is W4AMI.
Good evening, Stan. W4AMI, WB4KKJ. And here's Greg, Golf Romeo Echo Golf, located in Pace, Florida. And from here, Stan, is we've got a 80-meter dipole. Resonant on 3885, no tuner required. It's got a 40-meter dipole off the side of the tower that's no tuners required with it, so we're very fortunate there. It took us a little bit of time to get it to resonate where we want it, but it's working good. And on top of the tower, we got a 10, 15, and 20 meter, mostly TA33, about 40 feet. 25 tower with tilt over electric winch. So, but just on the great sea line tonight, and enjoying the net, and everybody is sounding good. Back to you, Stan, W4AMI, WB4KKJ.
Okay, Greg. Greg, I got to tell you, when I was a relatively new ham, a teenager, about 103 years ago, I went to a local club meeting. I'm originally from the Detroit area, a club meeting up in Birmingham, Michigan, and there was a guy there from St. Louis, Missouri, who was there to give a talk for the night, and he came with a trailer on the back of his station wagon and a Mosley TA33 one, TA33. It was Carl Mosley, and those TA33s have been around a long time, and I think have certainly stood the test of time. So you got a good one there. Thanks for checking in tonight, Greg, and we shall catch you another week here pretty quick. Next up is Joe, WRK4JCP. Go ahead. K4JCP. Okay, Joe has left the building. K4JZS. John, go ahead.
W4AMI, K4ZS. Well, Stan, I'll just remind everybody that the Mullet Fest will be this weekend, and if you could make it, glad to see you. On Days of May tonight, checking this out for work. It's working and sounding all right. Been a major upgrade on this one, so other than that, just really cut dipoles and beams and so on and so forth. Typical yard sale. I guess that's about it. W4AMI, K4
WVZS, W4AMI. Very good, John. Thank you. This weekend, the goings on down there in the Panhandle. It sounds like the fish fry is going to be a good one. Wish we could come down. I would love to come down and fellowship with you all. Just can't do it these days. Got to stay closer to home. Next up is Lyle, N4QH. Your transmission, Lyle. This is W4AMI.
W4AMI. I got two layers flow. Anyway, running all solid state here, about 220 watts. Just running to say, hey,
oh, okay, Lyle. Good signal over here for so close. You're doing all right. Thanks for joining us tonight. Last station on the list, and then we'll hold. Then I'll take one more late standby. W4IDD. Roy, how are you tonight? W4AMI. Over.
All right, thank you, Steve. This is W4IDD in Pensacola. The name is Roy. And it's good to be here this evening. As Miss Benny Pearl used to say on the Grand Ole Opry, howdy. The man just come out of open up and cooperate. John, those you may sound wonderful, but you ain't got that I met you see you and well anyway. That's for the family that there's a blessing out there. I want to check in. That's good. I'm running an AMAC 67 and Pullman 8 receiver and a little SC200 amplifier. Running about 200 watt carrier. So I hope you're hearing this station okay. Stan. Anyway, antenna-wise, I just had one antenna. I've got a Apex. And the reason for that is, now I'm going to get a little difficult. So I'm an old man, y'all bear with me. I only run AM on HF. This is awful. Western, I say, you're just going to have to leave me because I'm here to stay. So there you go. 73 to everybody. Everybody sounds good tonight. Good to hear everybody in there. And I will close, Stan, by saying this. I hope everybody out there radio land is as good as I was. That's everybody from W4IDD.
Okay, Roy. Hey, thank you for joining us tonight, Roy. I really appreciated your friendship and coming and joining us tonight. This is W4AMI. We're at the end of the list for the Southeast AM Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. We'll take one final standby for any late arrivers. Come on in now. W4AMI going to listen for you.
And K4HOM.
Oh, you're back, Lenny. Good. Go on. Come on in and make a transmission, Lenny. W4AMI.
I don't know. In the net, W4AMI, K4HOM. I think I've got a little antenna problem, so imagine that. Anyway, I'm running a Fritzl. It's a multi-band sort of old unit from old Germany. And thanks for allowing me to use my FT1000 Mark V. The girl's going to be 23 in in September, as far as I can tell, and backing it up with the Alpha 78, which is a trio of 88, 74s. Those don't even glow in the dark, but I try and make it work here, and I hope it's doing a good enough job to at least play with some of the great signals and some of the great rigs out there. Always love listening to all you guys, and antennas. I've got a ton of them on the ground and on the tower. I need to reevaluate this tower. It's got a little bit of lean before I start taking it up in the sky. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. And again, Alan, thanks for the pre-net, and didn't mean to leave you hanging there, Sam, but I had to run an errand, so early this afternoon. Stan, back to you. W4AMI, God bless all out there, K4H1.
Okay, Lenny. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. Yeah, I called you earlier, but I figured, well, he'll be back when he's back. Anyway, take care, and we shall catch you next week. Reminder that on Thursday night, about the same time that we begin this net, the Mullet Society net will be here on 3885 at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and that will be their formal net time. Southeast AM Radio Club net will meet again next Tuesday night at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. For those in other parts of the country, we've been here for 2 hours, folks. Let's not get our panties in a wad there. And come Monday night, the Eagles are here about the same time on the same frequency, and they're here for about an hour and a half. Take care, everybody. Thank you for your participation and your listening. And Lord willing, we'll see you. I'll be net control again in 2 weeks. Sam KF4TXQ will be here next Tuesday night, and with Kevin WA4KM doing his pre-net. Take care, everybody. God bless and good night. This is W4KR. Good night.